because this interview took place last week, and people had a shitstorm about it. The fact that he talked that Tucker Carlson talked to Nick Fuentes. I'm going to play some clips from this, but it's not the parts that you probably are expecting. It's the parts that interested me the most, and I think maybe I'll get in trouble. It's where Nick is the most incorrect, right? And see if you guys can take into that. So we had that going on. You know what? I need to pull this. Well, sorry. I didn't finish pulling up all my stuff. Then we had Dave Smith went on Steven Crowder this week. We're going to play at least 2 clips from there. So we've got those going. And then some of the fallout of the Tucker Carlson. But I'm going to start, I think, with the fallout. Then we're going to do Dave Smith. And then we're going to do Nick Fuentes. Nick is so fam, people should relax. This is the part I'm going to be talking about. And look, you know me. And I played a part of my thing last week, and then I made it into a short, which is because people were saying this online, which is I don't mind normalizing. And Buck Johnson, I saw him. He was like, I don't like the word normalizing. It's like woke stuff. And I get it, but I used it. I don't mind the normalizing of Nick, right? But not because I think that his views should be paramount and listened to. It's because it freaks out the right people. And I'm sure the Heritage, not the Heritage, but those are the ones freaking out about that, the Daily Wire, they would be like, how appalling. And I'm like, excuse me, Ben Shapiro had a mug called Leftist Tears, gloating in the fact that these people were crying over everything and that you were literally drinking from their tears. So don't give me this shit about not enjoying the fallout and the wrath and the upheaval of your opponents. This is such a fascinating time to me too, because it's just put into more perspective of where I'm like a nomad, okay? Not no ma'am, as Al Bundy would have had it, a nomad, which is just, I don't know where I'm at with any of these parties or any of these situations anymore, right? Because I see a lot of these right-wingers, and, you know, it should be mentioned, there's a lot of these never-Trumpers that are now, you know, the biggest MAGA people in the world, and it's like, I wasn't on board with Trump the first time. I didn't hate him like everybody. You know, Dave Smith famously had Libertas, I think that's what it is, his libertarian, his first big, you know, set that he did, that he had a special, like a 1-hour special. He famously talks about that with Trump, which is, I just don't hate him the way that you want me to hate him. And that's the way I was then. And I did vote for him the second time, but not because I was a big policy man, but simply because I was like, if he gets in, we could free Ross Ulbricht. And that's what happened. So I'm fine with it. And by the way, is Trump going to be any worse off than Kamala? No. So I don't have a problem with that. Okay. And that was, you know, the Reason magazine, just the stupid stuff where they're like, they're appalled at all these things. And then they're, you know, upset the first week when he didn't free Ross Ulbricht. I'm like, motherfuckers didn't vote for him. Some motherfucker in there is like, they're voting for, I don't know, Dennis Kucinich. It was some wacky stuff that they were going down with that. My point here is I'm not in the camp of Tucker and, I mean, there's some things I agree with, or Nick. I'm not in the camp of the left that hates Nick and for the reasons they do. I'm not in the right that freaks out about. I don't want their party either, you know. So that it's just, I don't know where I'm at, but there's a lot of things I just disagree with a lot of these people on for different reasons. It's interesting. In a few weeks, I'm going to have my friend Jonathan come back on. We're going to talk about politics and stuff. He's been on before. He's more of the man of the left. Totally love having conversations with him, and I haven't been following like where he's at with everything, but it's typically anti-Trump everything. Okay. Now we may agree on a position that we don't agree, you know, like agree with Trump on. It's going to be for different reasons. I'll just tell you that. And when I see people like him, you know, the way they freak out, I'm just like, the way you freak out about it is just so petty. And it's just falls right along the line with everything your little party thinks about. I get mad at the right for doing that too, right? So anyway, we'll break that down. Now, Heritage, there's a few different think tanks out there, and it is fascinating to me to see people freaking out that have worked for the Heritage Foundation. I was mixing them up a little bit with the Manhattan Institute. I clarified that to myself because I want to do Chris Brunet. I called him Chris Brunet. I think I want to get him on the show too. He used to work. These people that work for think tanks. I mean, there was an attorney out there that was like, I used to work for them, and now he's with another think tank. And I'm like, have you ever had a real job in your life? I mean, it blows me away that we allow, these think tanks, and then they dictate policy, and these people just never had to run a real business in their life. It's blows me away, and it happens all the time. Your Will Chamberlains out there, the rights. It's just, there's a lot of this out there. Okay. Tucker Carlson. First of all, what is the Heritage Institute? Okay, so let's go ahead. I did a little chat GB because I wanted to do the quick and dirty. Now I said Heritage Institute because I was confusing them with the Manhattan, but we'll get it there. The Heritage Foundation, Washington, D.C. Overview. Founded in 1973, Heritage Foundation is a conservative think tank based in Washington, D.C. It aims to influence U.S. public policy based on principles of limited government, free enterprise, individual freedom, traditional values, and a strong national defense. I want you to keep those things in mind as we progress here and we talk about what the Heritage Foundation actually commented on and what the freak out is doing, okay? That think tank stuff is government grifting, right? Yes, I really do think it is. Okay, the mission to formulate and promote conservative public policies grounded in the ideas of free markets, individual liberty, and American constitutionalism. Now, I just don't believe that this is. It's interesting. One of my friends, he was in the chat last week, like longtime friend growing up. He actually was one got me onto the first one back in the 90s, reading The Law by Frederick Bastiat. And then that started taking me down the libertarian route. We were kind of having an offline discussion about, well, everything's offline with Twitter. I mean, texting this week. And then I got him with, Rothbard. I was telling him to read some of the stuff here. And he's like, do you just see any way forward of slowing the growth of this monster? And it's like, no. And now you look at, the bashing. JD Vance comes out there and bashes Thomas Massey. He's not with us. And I'm like, that's because you guys aren't this. I mean, this think tank is supposedly to be small government, and no one's like that anymore. Okay. So I don't even know if these think tanks have anything other than a way to tax-free money, like a tax write-off maybe. I don't know what the purpose of these things are anymore. Activities: produces research reports, policy analysis and legislative recommendations, advocates for conservative positions on tax, regulation, education, defense, and social issues, operates Heritage Action for America, an affiliated lobbying organization, there you go, that promotes its policy agenda in Congress. Influence: it has played a major role in shaping Republican policy platforms and White House policy proposals since the Reagan era. You know what? I had a constitution, a small little constitution, and it is Heritage. Wonder where it's at. It might be in my office, but hang on. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. I just pulled this shit out of my ass, suddenly remembered, and there I have it. So it's the Declaration. Oh, it's both. It's the Constitution, the Declaration, and the Constitution. And look who it is. It's the Heritage Foundation. So actually, I mean, that's one good thing. Your pocket rule book, so to speak, right? Okay. It matters because they consolidate money and promote actual candidates that align. Okay. I mean, could be. I've gotten stuff out of these before, policies that I've read and, some, I guess. Influence, there we go. In Reagan era mandate for leadership report, which heavily influenced Reagan administration policy. Criticism: supporters view it as a pillar of conservative intellectual thought. Critics argue it promotes partisan and ideological agendas. Yeah, welcome to the real world, especially in recent years under more populist leadership. Leadership as of 2025, the current president is Kevin D. Roberts, who has emphasized populist and, quote, America First themes within the organization's modern direction. Interesting. And we will see the freakouts to this. It's gaslighting at its greatest. And if you're new here and you're like, oh, Tyler, what are you, an anti-Semite? No, What I'm tired of, and this is the whole Nick Fuentes stuff, which is you can't make reasoned arguments without the name calling. And that used to be primary on the left. Okay. That was the woke idea, right? Someone makes a comment about whatever it is. Affirmative action, which could be for anybody. Immediately you're a racist. That is the technique of a woke, basically a Marxist. And who does that now? I'm jumping ahead. Okay. And then I'm like, I think they were involved in Project 2025. So I asked about it and they said, yes, they were primarily involved. And what is the things for it? Well, they were trying to do all this kind of stuff, a mandate for leadership, a 900-page policy blueprint outlining conservative proposals across federal agencies, advocates rolling back regulations, restructuring executive agencies, and asserting a stronger presidential control over the federal bureaucracy, the administrative state. The key areas include cutting government spending and staff. I mean, you just watch this because I know Trump distanced himself from it. And now I can see why. And I didn't actually. This is the first I've looked at the Project 2020. Limiting the Department of Education, promoting school choice. Perfect. Tightening immigration enforcement. Good. Expanding domestic energy production. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I know. I just don't know what they want to do about that. That sounds good too. Restricting abortion access and advancing family values policy positions. Okay. Reorienting foreign policy towards America First priorities. This is important because this has kind of been their new structural guide, and this is 2025, Project 2025, which has been basically out there for a few years. This was for going into the new, Trump getting him elected, blah, 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 blah. A database, training and transition, philosophy, reflect. Okay. Supporters view it as an organized effort to make government more efficient. Doge, right? That's what Doge is supposed to do. And did that work out? No, they pinpointed all these areas that needed to be, taken care of. And then what happened is the Republicans just voted in anyways. More accountable, ideological, consistent with conservative values. That would be great. So far, I'm liking the Heritage Foundation. Critics, including civil rights groups and political opponents, argue that it promotes authoritarian control, rollbacks of rights, and politicization of civil service. So I would imagine that, when you say rollback of rights, I mean, that's nonsense. All this is nonsense. It drew attention 2024, 2025 due to speculation about its connection to a potential second Trump administration, though Trump himself publicly distanced from it. Okay, then there was I was interested in not their social policy, but their foreign policy. Prioritize America First strategies, reduce foreign aid, emphasize national interest over multilateral commitments, reassert U.S. sovereignty and reduce foreign entanglements, isolationism. This is they're saying the weak parts about it. Isolationism, weakened alliances, and global influence. So then you take a look here. Let's see. I don't think my camera's up on this one, but we could go here. It's not really there, but we'll take a look at this. Their Middle East policy, it's all Biden bad, Iran deal bad, Palestine bad, Jews good, or Israel. So, you go there, it's not much different than any other. So, just kind of taking a look at what it is. So Tucker Carlson platforms, quote unquote, Nick Fuentes, and then the fallout is immediate. There's Dillon goes on with Piers Morgan, gets his ass just destroyed by Dave Smith. At some point, Dave needs to just back off. It was actually brutal, and it was almost to the point where I was like, oh, I can't. But there's so many good points there, and I'm just sick of everything. So you don't like someone's thinking, and Dave just says, hey, Seth, I don't like a lot of your thinking. I think some of the stuff you say is just despicable, but here you are. So we just have to deal with it. Completely true. Now, with that in mind, there was calls that perhaps Tucker was being removed from Heritage Foundation website, other things, is he going to be excommunicated from TPUSA? Well, then yesterday, this gentleman comes out, 17.9 million views. He's the guy we just talked about. He's the head of the Heritage Foundation, and he comes out and makes a statement. So let's take a listen to the statement. And you know what? I need my chart out here. I need some paper. Sorry. I'm getting some paper out here. Okay, I'm gonna mention everything. Let me see. How many times he says the word Jews? Okay, Christ, America. Okay, these are, and then Israel. Okay, I want to see if he says any of those things. Take it away.
I'll have more to say on this in the coming days, but today I want to be clear about one thing. Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. And of course,
Wait. Sorry, I missed it.
I'll have more.
How's the volume? Anybody? Andrew Cohen's rocking chart show. Yeah. I think I'm going to pump this up just a tad bit just so we get the extra volume here because it does feel low. It might be my side here. So let me go there. Okay, we'll start this.
Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. And of course, anti-Semitism should be condemned. My loyalty as a Christian and as an American is to Christ first and to America always. When it serves the interests of the United States to cooperate with Israel and other allies, we should do so with partnerships on security, intelligence, and technology. But when it doesn't, conservatives should feel no obligation to reflexively support any foreign government, no matter how loud the pressure becomes from the globalist class or from their mouthpieces in Washington. The Heritage Foundation didn't become the intellectual backbone of the conservative movement by canceling our own people or policing the consciences of Christians. And we won't start doing that now. We don't take direction from comments on X, though we are grateful for the robust free speech debate. We also don't take direction from members or donors, though we are inherently grateful for their support. And we're adding more every day. This is the robust debate we invite with our colleagues, our movement friends, our members, and the American public. We will always defend truth. We will always defend America, and we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson, who remains, and as I have said before, always will be a close friend of the Heritage Foundation. The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division. Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Most importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right. I disagree with, and even abhor, things that Nick Fuentes says. But canceling him is not the answer either. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. And we have seen success in this approach as we continue to dismantle the vile ideas of the left. As my friend Vice President Vance said last night, what I am not okay with is any country coming before the interest of American citizens, and it is important for all of us, assuming we are American citizens, to put the interest of our own country first. That's where our allegiance lies, and that's where it will stay.
Okay, so depending on how you scored that, he said Christ or Christian 3 times. Okay, he said Jews 0, but he did say venomous people. So Zionists, no, I think it's just people in general there. He said anti-Semitism twice. 1 time he condemned it. He did say Israel twice. 3rd time he said foreign country. So that could be any country. And I'm not going to do this assumption thing that it's just everyone who is. Okay, the volume you said was good. So yeah, in America, he said Christ 4 times are Christians, and he said America 7 times. Okay, America or USA, and you could have put another one in there because he said like our country. So then, the premise there, this is where I'm going to, and I'm gonna maybe be like the woke people here, but I think this is what got him struck. People just freaked out here. It wasn't that he said, I deplore things that Nick Fuentes says. It wasn't that he said Tucker Carlson could always be welcome here. It was that he said Christ, our allegiance is to Christ and America. That was what he I mean, like I said, it says America 7 times and Christ 4. There was no other little selection of words that he said as many times. Christ, Christians, and the America. That is what pissed everybody off. And you should know, the Josh Hammers and these types of the people, they are more concerned that you are having a connection with, because you're seeing these pastors that are coming out. I love it, right? Because nothing is better. What this guy has said is exactly true. I don't want him silenced. I'm seeing big churches. I'm seeing all these pastors coming out, and they are saying the most ridiculous things. People are it's one thing, I said this on Twitter, by the way, follow me, right? By the way, is a drinking game, so we have to take a drink because I say that way too much. Subliminal says, happy Halloween. Yeah, happy Halloween, everybody in here. Without saying those magic words, I'm trying to get past it. I don't remember what I was saying now. I had it going. Anyway, that the people... this is one other thing here. Charlie Kirk, it wasn't so much that he left the pro-Israel side from the debate, right? The debate just made him so good. It might have been. Dave might have persuaded him, but he said in his tweet and in his message, the private message there, that they gave him, the way that they were behaving, gave him no choice but to leave the pro-Israel movement, okay? So that is part of it. Now, back to what I was saying with the churches and stuff. Okay. And it came back to me. There are pastors out there that are so concerned that you don't have dual loyalty to Israel and America. And then they say, if you don't have this, it also means that you don't have loyalty to the Jewish people. So I'm like, it's one thing to have treason and to go against your country, right? To not have loyalty for your country. It's another to have disloyalty to your God. It blows me away. I am not, I'm religious, okay? But there are things in my life that I just could never do. And some of them are stupid, right? Which is, I don't have a stack of books and I have a Bible underneath. It's on top. It's just like, it's a little respect. It's like, you don't let the flag touch the ground, those type of things. There's just things that are like, I don't mock my God, right? It's just, you just feel like, really? It's a little bit that I'm going to make jokes and I'm going to do all this stuff. But in my own personal, I'll mock your God. I'll mock your religion. I'm just not going to necessarily do mine. But I'm also not going to be, upset if you do mock mine, right? That's just kind of the way it is. I would love to at some point go to the Holy Land. My church has done that. My friends and relatives have gone over there and visited that as a religious thing, as a Protestant type of thing. I would never go before that wall with the hat on. I'm sorry. What is that? As an example, I wouldn't go into a Catholic church and do something that's only Catholics, right? I don't know that I would partake. Maybe I'd partake in their mass. I don't know. We have our communion. We have communion in our church. There's little rituals where you're not just asserting that you're about God. It's kind of like you're just taking part in this religion. And it's one thing if you're doing it all in a Christian one, but now you're doing it in another. I wouldn't do it to Mormonism, right? I've gone into their temple and I'm like, I'm not going to do more. I'm not going to put your shirt on, your little underwear or whatever it is. The point is there's certain things I just feel would burn you. Yeah. I don't know if kissing the wall, I mean, is that a Jewish thing? I mean, there's definitely, Christian stuff over there, but I wouldn't wear a hat to do it. I mean, because that is significance to that religion. It's just, it's crazy. I wouldn't go in blackface because I'm not a black Israelite. Wait, is that? You can go to mass, but only certain Catholics can accept the wafer and wine. Okay, well, there you go. I don't know how that all goes because I don't care about other religions, honestly. And maybe I should. Anyway, I found that fascinating, that the reaction to it. So that's the thing there. Let's actually look at some of these reactions. So here's our crazy lady Mel. See, I changed this around here. And she's got, treating Israel like any other ally, bad, bemoaning globalist, bad asterisk, free embrace of Tucker, bad, trashing Tucker's. Anyway, these people there's so many little, this whole video is based on the assumption that the interest of American citizens doesn't include blacks and Jews who oppose the normalization of and the inclusion of Nick Fuentes. No, you know what? He said, I condemn Nick Fuentes. I condemn, this is where the mental gymnastics in these people's minds is crazy. Jews, no one is coming to our rescue. By this one, this is insane. Most analysts would focus on the wildness of heritage name-checking Fuentes. That is wholly irrelevant. A foreign policy think tank should not be used. I don't even know what the fuck is going on with this Hasbara. The Groypers are winning. I mean, are they? Let's see what Laura Luma writes in here. Why does it all feel like one big psyop that is heavily coordinated and has been planned for years, right before the midterms to kneecap Trump?